Welcome. Would you like to introduce your name, course, year, and university?
Hi there, I'm Allan Jackson. So I'm doing a Beyond in Business Studies with Operations and Project Management at Bournemouth University. I'm in year 2 and I'm going on to do a placement in June.
Would you like to mention your hometown?
Yeah, so I live in Bournemouth at the moment, but it's not where I'm from originally. So I've lived here for quite a while now, 20 years. So
Okay.
I guess it's my hometown.
Could you remind us of the course you're currently studying?
Yeah, BA in Business Studies with Operations and Project Management.
Why did you choose your course?
So being, I guess, older than most students, I was looking for something to give me the most opportunities for when I graduate. I think Business Studies does that. I have an interest in Business Studies anyway. I've done various business courses through my life. I've had health issues. So prior to coming back to university, I had some ill health and I've only been working part-time. So it was to help with, to help me get back into full-time work really, because it gives me those additional skills that employers are looking for. And I studied when I was younger to be a teacher. I originally went to university in Brighton to study teaching. Unfortunately, due to ill health, then I didn't graduate, but I got a diploma in higher education. So since then, I've always thought, okay, if I get the opportunity, I want to go back to university, I want to do my degree. I think I'm capable of getting one. So I'm luckily in a situation where I can do that. Not everyone can. So
Okay.
here I are.
So you said you're in your second year, so you've just about finished in 2 years of your degree.
Yeah.
What have you thought about your degree so far?
Yeah, I've enjoyed it. So obviously this year has been a challenge since last March. So semester 2 of year 1. I personally prefer in-person teaching, face-to-face. I think for me, you get a bit more focused because you're treating it more like a job where you'll have to go somewhere and you have to be there and make the time to do the work, whereas when you're at home or people are in halls or whatever, it's I guess you can get distracted a lot easier, especially me personally. I find it difficult studying at home. I don't really have a space where I can do that, so I just live on my own in a flat, so I don't really have somewhere separate to go away and study. So you have distractions and it makes it a little bit harder. This year, the university have been quite good. So semester 1, we had mainly recorded lectures. So you could access it as and when you wanted. However, a lot of people, me included, said that we would prefer live lectures because it gives it more of a proper university experience, I guess, because it gives you, again, that face-to-face sort of contact. You have more time with the lecturers. So semester 2 has mainly been live lectures with additional recorded ones. And those lectures are recorded anyway, so you can go back and look at them and listen again. So I think semester 2 for me has been better than semester 1, as in lectures, but the experience has been good. I think as a mature student, I have a different outlook on my degree. So for me, it has been more about studying and getting the grade. I have a goal in mind for the grade I want and where I want to be. Whereas if I was still 18, 19, 20, I would not necessarily have the view. It wouldn't necessarily be when I leave university, or my placement year, it's going to lead me onto a job potentially. Whereas if I was younger, it would just be potentially experience rather than the hope of a future career, or a mixture of the two. And I think also it sort of focuses you. So I knew that I wanted to get a minimum grade. My ideal would be a first, but I'm a little bit behind where I want to be. I'm on a high 2-1 at the moment. So I still need to do a little bit of additional work to bring that grade up. But but I know where I am and I know where I work,
Okay.
what I need to do. So yeah, it's good.
What do you think the best subjects / A levels are for your course?
So I didn't do A levels. I did a BTEC national in business and finance when I was younger. And then obviously I had my diploma in higher education. And then I had to do an access course as a mature student. I think for younger students, it really depends. I mean, there's so many pathways within business that you can take. So I'm doing operations and project management. I'm not 100% sure there would be A levels necessarily that would lead you onto that pathway. But if you're organised and structured and enjoy working with others, then that's a good starting point. That your degree will give you the rest of it. If you want to do business with economics, then obviously an economics A level would be useful. Or if you want to do accounting, again, economics A level would be useful.
So kind of cater it to what pathway you want to take.
Essentially,
for
yeah.
University.
Yeah, I mean, I've been talking to people because I've been a pound leader this semester. I'm not sure if you or your listeners know what pound leader
We'll
is.
get onto that.
Okay, cool. So I've had a conversation with people about options and pathways and where they want to go. And I think you can come onto a business degree without knowing where you want to go in the future.
So a bit of the freedom.
Yeah, because we do quite a lot. So we've already studied ethics and HR and organizational behavior as part of the degree. So that's obviously more of a humanities-based subject. So sociology, psychology, philosophy. So people who've done that at A level would already have that base for those parts of the subject. And then potentially they might want to go into HR, or they might do the degree and then think, okay, I prefer this subject. Again, we've talked about economics and accounting. You might take that route. Marketing might be something that interests you. So people who are interested in, I guess, social media or promoting themselves or promoting businesses. So if they've managed to create a good social media following, maybe that's something they could do within the marketing. But then again, within the different things that I've spoken about, there's lots of career opportunities within that. So although I don't want to do economics, if we look at economics, you could do you could be a microeconomic economist or macroeconomist. You could look at the Bank of England. You could work in a big
There's a lot of options.
Yeah, so even within the pathways that you take, there are loads of options. So one of the pathways that current students can take, so the people who are in level 4 at the moment, is there's a new pathway that we didn't have an option for on my year, which they can go into supply chain and retail and fashion. So there's more of a retail stream as well. So if you have an interest in that sort of thing, you don't necessarily have to have studied it. So I think you could do any A levels really to come onto a business course.
Okay.
All of it would be useful. However, if you've
chosen what you want to do,
then you can use those to follow on. But like I say, it might be you come onto the course with a set idea of wanting to go into accounting, and then you do some I don't know, you do some HR, or
and you'd like the HR.
Yeah, so you can always change it.
Okay.
So I think there's lots of opportunities.
If we now go into your university, which is
Bournemouth.
What are the best and worst things about studying at Bournemouth University? Starting off with the worst.
So, I mean, I don't think there's anything necessarily really bad about it. I would prefer a better library. I think there could be more books and physical copies, which hasn't been relevant this year, but last year, I think the choice is quite outdated. So sometimes they're not the most up-to-date book that you could get for that subject. And there's not a massive amount, although they will try and order in a book if you want particular ones. And the online
library,
yeah, the books that you have a choice from on there, they don't necessarily have enough copies for everyone on the course to be able to look at it at the same time.
Okay.
So for me, I would like to see more investment in the library. I'm not.
Anything else?
Yeah, ridiculous thing is we've had some new buildings built, and I'm just not a fan of the architecture. But I mean, that's just visual rather than anything else. That's just personal taste. I prefer a more classic architectural style, like Cambridge or something like that, rather than modernist office building type thing. So I guess for me, those would be the worst things.
And the best things?
I think the lecturers have tried, especially the course leader, have tried to be responsive to issues that we've had. So, like I said, they in semester 1 this year, where everything was mainly recorded, and they got feedback that wasn't really what we wanted. They then changed it and did put the work in to get the lecturers to deliver live lectures rather than recorded ones. So I think that's good. They've listened to what we have to say. The virtual learning environment we have is great for the business course. So we use Brightspace, and the modules are good. The stuff they put on there is good, and then the course itself has its own, I suppose, Brightspace module, and all the stuff that you need to know about the course is in there as well. So from the pathways that are available to you, information about the final year projects and what's available, what you can do, searching for a placement, the library information that's on there for doing cover letters and CVs to help with the placement search for younger students. Obviously, I've had jobs in the past, so I didn't need as much support in that area, but it's there's some great stuff on there. So I think that's a really good thing for my course. Obviously, I don't know how other courses are set up on Brightspace. They're not all necessarily delivering the same amount of information as my course. So I think, yeah, that's been really good.
Anything else?
I guess interacting with people from different backgrounds and stuff, to me, I don't come from a privileged background. I'm a working class guy, but obviously I've not really met, I don't really have a lot of younger people that I hang around with, other than people at work and stuff. So it's getting to know them, working with them, doing the group work and getting to know them. I think there's been some really good opportunities there, and networking with people. So yeah, I mean, that's been good. What else? I mean, I guess other people would say the beach for Bournemouth, but I live here anyway, so for me that's not really a
benefit. It's just normal.
Yeah, it's just normal. But I think, especially when we have really nice weather, so the weather at the moment is great. It's sunny and dry, so walking along the seafront and the cliff tops, I think for people, if they want to come and study in Bournemouth, I think they would really enjoy that. The nightlife for younger people before COVID was really good. We have some really good clubs down here, some really good bars. So
yes,
the people,
there's a lot to do.
Yeah, so there's lots to do. It's a great area. I think the university is improving. I think there's lots of opportunities within Bournemouth University to improve yourself and develop, if you're willing to put that work in and read the information they provide. So yeah, I think that's as well.
So if we now go into your accommodation, as a mature student, what was your experience when trying to find somewhere to live?
So I live in Bournemouth anyway, so I had my own flat already. There's a lot of rental agencies in Bournemouth. I was offered, so I got the same emails as everyone else for university accommodation, for halls, and for student housing. So there are those options. I don't think the university provide specific housing for mature students. So if someone in my situation who didn't live in Bournemouth wanted to move down here, it would be a case of finding somewhere themselves. But depending on the letting agents or estate agents you go with, there's some really good valued flats around. And it's about finding something in an area that you're comfortable living in. Bournemouth has some good and some bad areas. So I think accommodation there's a good range of accommodation if you're looking for something. If you're a family, coming down, or you live in Bournemouth, then there is family accommodation available.
Okay.
If you're single, then you have the option to go into halls with everyone else, or like I say, find a flat like I have.
Okay.
So yeah.
So you, as you said, you're a business student, a mature business student now in his second year. Could you tell us your experience of what it's like being a mature student at university?
So I was a bit nervous returning to a university setting when I'm probably the same age as a lot of people's parents. So it's a bit daunting. But I would say to people, don't worry. Other students soon get used to the fact that there are people of different backgrounds, different ages, different experiences in the classroom. Everyone brings something different. I think it helps that mature students tend to be willing to speak out and ask questions and be the one that will answer and help and support and ask the questions that maybe other people don't want to ask. And I think that's sometimes appreciated. I think, like I say, people get used to it. You as long as you work hard and you get involved in not necessarily going out with people, but get involved with anything. If you have a social event and as part of your course and you go to it and you're willing to do that, even if it's just going crazy golf, we did that, or just going to Wetherspoons or whatever, then people will just accept you as who you are. It's no different. I guess it's just the initial
introduction.
Yeah, I think a lot of people coming from college expect everyone to be about their age, or maybe just taking a gap year, so not much older than them. I think on my course, as far as I'm aware, there's only a few of us that are
mature students.
Like there's mature students who are like in their early 20s, but like older than that, I think there's maybe 2 or 3 of us.
Okay.
But around the university, when we were on campus, you see more mature students because other courses there tends to be more. So maybe nursing, which we offer, midwifery, which we offer at Bournemouth, they tend to have potentially more mature students.
Okay.
And law had a few more. So it's on campus, people get used to there being mature students, and when you're in the lectures and the seminars and they see you day in, day out, and they talk to you and get to know you, I think it gets used to it. I think, like I said, for me, it was quite daunting. Maybe not for everyone, but you might feel that I felt that potentially I would be judged and that I wouldn't necessarily fit in. But again, a couple of weeks in, I was quite happy, and I'd met the people in my seminar group, and I was used to be around and talking to people. So that feeling soon went away. So yeah, it's good. I think just get involved. Don't let yourself be withdrawn or separate yourself from your seminar group. Make sure you talk to them and stuff. And I think you'll be fine if you're a mature student.
So we previously talked about Power Leader. Could you tell us what a Power Leader is and what it involves? Yeah,
so Power Leader is peer
assessed learning.
It seems I'm what I should know, shouldn't I? So it is someone in level 5 who.
So just to explain, level 4 is year 1, level 5 is year 2.
Yeah, and level 6 is your final year. So for me, that will be after my placement. So level 5 students take on a role where they look after a group of level 4 students, and it's about facilitating their learning. So it's not about being a teacher. It's about being able to answer questions, refer them to further resources if they need, be there if they just have questions to answer. If they have problems at university, then they can come and talk to you. It might be, for me, I've done a lot of work with them on explaining assignment briefs and helping them with feedback on work that they've done. I think the difficulty has been, because it's all been online this year, it's harder to, I think for both the PAL leader and the student to have that same experience, because you can't, I don't know how to explain it. It's really difficult to try and build up that rapport that you need to have a full PAL leader experience or PAL student PAL leader experience where they can feel as comfortable asking questions as they can in person.
So normally it'd be in person, but obviously now you're online.
Yeah. So for when I was level 4, we were in our seminar group. So there was, I think, about 24 in our seminar group, and we had a PAL leader. Semester 1, we saw them once a week. Semester 2, we saw them every other week. And the same this semester. I've got 2 PAL groups. One I have 25 in, and one I have, I think, 22 in, or it might be 25 and 28. So I saw them every week for semester 1 and every other week for this semester. Today was my last session with them. And I think when you're in person and they can come and see you and get to know you, and it's a lot easier for eye contact and to recognize body language and personal experiences. And I think people sometimes feel more comfortable talking to someone in person rather than online. I think it's been a bit more of a struggle for me anyway, and for some of the other PAL leaders I've spoken to, generating that
repertoire. Yeah.
I mean, there's been some great students and great rapport. I've had some really good experiences. So it has been good, but like I say, I think it's been a little bit more difficult than if we'd have been in person. That's just the same as I think for lecturers. And also I think the difficulty is because we didn't make the PAL students turn their cameras on. That makes it a bit more difficult, because you don't get the eye contact and all that sort of stuff. So you're talking to a blank screen.
Okay, I understand.
So again, that makes it slightly more difficult. But we have to let them be as comfortable as they can. And if they didn't want to turn their cameras on, we weren't going to force them. So that's made it a little bit more difficult. And I guess, again, that's about the communication as well, because a lot of communication comes from body language. Can't see what they're doing.
Doesn't really help.
Although they can see me, it makes it a bit more difficult to provide the support sometimes that they need.
You can't really read them and how they feel.
But I've always, even outside, I've always said to them that they can contact me at any time. So they have my phone number for WhatsApp, email addresses. So they've asked questions outside of the PAL session when they've not felt comfortable to ask an inside, which I find is fine. I don't have any issues with that. And they, I think that the majority of them have, I hope, have got a good experience from it.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been good.
What general advice would you give to mature students wanting to study at university?
I think I would say just go for it. I had, so on Twitter, I don't know, about 2 months ago, maybe even less, a month ago, there was a 71-year-old that posted, I think I just got it as a retweet, who said that he described his educational background. He already has a couple of degrees and has a PhD, and was concerned because he wanted to come back to university, but he was concerned he might take a place away from a younger student. And I just gave him the advice that, especially for someone that already had his experience, that any university would be willing to take him on, because they know that he'd be there to study, and that most people would take on board and would be willing, and they'd be grateful for his experience and different life experiences and educational experience. At the end of the day, we have to remember that even though I'm a mature student, everyone else has a story behind them, has a different background, has a reason why they might feel uncomfortable. So I would always say to someone who wants to come to university as an older person, just do it, research it. If I get a student loan like everyone else, I work part-time. I have the same struggles as everyone else, trying to find a placement and concentrating and getting my assignments in on time. But it's any worries that you have initially, any doubts that you might have in the first couple of weeks, they soon go. And it's just about, like I say, getting involved. And I don't mean by getting involved, I don't mean going out clubbing and going drinking all the time, because it's not about that for everyone. So it's just about ensuring that, I think, trying just to make sure when you're in a group work, making sure everyone gets involved and not trying to take control, because I think mature students sometimes have like I say, have a different experience. They might have work experience in it as a manager. They might feel the younger students might look up to them as a I don't know, a teacher sort of experience, or a coach or whatever. And it's about trying to not become that person. It's about just working with them rather than letting them make you do all the work, which hasn't ever, luckily, has only happened to me a couple of times. But it's, I think it's about making sure that you're not setting guidelines. That's not really, or boundaries. That's not what I mean. But I guess it is for yourself rather than for the group. Try not to take over, and try not to, like I say, try not to be the teacher. Just try and be a fellow student. Hopefully that makes sense.
And what advice would you give to students wanting to study at Bournemouth University?
I think Bournemouth University is becoming a good university. It's a younger university. It used to be a polytechnic, so it's working hard to improve the teaching and the experiences of students on the course. Depending what you want from university, depends on which one you go to. The course, it's I would say that there's some really good lecturers in Bournemouth for business studies. Obviously, I can't speak for the other subjects. The area of Bournemouth is great. You've got the beach on your doorstep. You've got the New Forest if you're interested in that sort of thing. Jurassic Coast if you're interested in dinosaurs. You can go and walk along and see fossils in the cliff tops. The university's just been there's just been a league table come out on the UN Sustainable Development Goals, and where universities place in that, and Bournemouth has done really well in that. I think something like 7th or 19th. There's a couple of figures in there. It was in the local paper yesterday. Teaching, it goes up every year in the league tables. So if you want a rounded education that's not necessarily, it's going to deliver you a good education, but it's not going to put the stress that maybe some of the top universities will give you. Then Bournemouth's great. I mean, I think I've done better than I expected. They've put that support in place. I suffer from some mental health issues, and the support is there from the university for when I've not been well, and when I've struggled. I've let them know, and they've offered that extra support. And so it's a good university. If you're willing to put the effort in, you'll get a lot out of it. So I would recommend it. If the course suits you, the structure suits you, and the outline of the course suits you, then yeah, certainly apply and see how you get on.
Okay, and finally, what advice would you give to students wanting to study your course at university?
I think similar advice. My course actually changes. So as I said, I'm a level 5. I'm the last year on the course as it is run at the moment. So the level 4s are doing a slightly different course. So mine is a BA Business Studies course, and theirs is BA Business Management. And their pathways are slightly different, and they have more options and less core modules.
Okay.
But I think it gives you a lot more opportunities to structure your degree in the way that you want it to do.
Okay.
If you want to come to university and just do a business studies degree, and you want to have a well-rounded degree that's going to get you on in business, then you can do that. You can just do a business studies degree. You can pick your options as and what you want to do. Or if you know that you have an idea of where you want to be, you know that you want to work in retail, you might want to work in logistics or planning or supply chain, then there's those options as well. Or you might have friends or family that, like we've talked about economics, who you might be good at figures, you get that option anyway. So it's a really good rounded course that in the first year gives you a grounding in a number of modules, and then allows you to branch off after that. So you get the opportunity to choose what you want to do, which I think is good, rather than being fully fixed. It means that you have the option as to tailor your degree to what you want to do in your final career, or I say final career, your first step in a career after university, because obviously what you do after university could change.
Okay. You chose going back to university over an apprenticeship / just staying in work. What path you to make this choice?
So I think, like I've spoken about before, I had ill health. So I worked in management in retail for a number of years, and I really enjoyed that. However, I didn't necessarily want to go back into retail management. I would rather do something else. I'm hoping eventually to move into project management. So I knew that for me to be able to do that, I would need to get some up-to-date qualifications,
okay,
and potentially get experience with a company outside of retail during the placement year, which is one of the reasons why I picked Bournemouth, because the placement year is compulsory.
Is there a reason you didn't pick an apprenticeship then, and you pick university?
I don't think I ever even thought of that as an option.
Okay.
I think for someone of my age, it's not necessarily the right way to go. I think for a younger person, yeah, that's great, because it can lead you into a lot of options. I'm not sure at my age that flexibility is there, but as I didn't look into it, I can't say that it's not. So
I understand.
I just think for me, university was because I knew I wanted to get my degree. University for me was really the only thing I looked at.
Okay.
So yeah.
So at this point, I let students have what I like to call a free-for-all. You can say what you want about what you like. You can say something smart. You can say something dumb. Literally, the floor is yours.
Oh, okay. I don't know. I don't really. I'm not really good at thinking off my feet.
It could be advice. It could be just a word of mention. Literally, it could be past work experience, literally anything.
So I guess I'm going to talk about placements, I think.
Okay.
It's been quite stressful getting a placement during coronavirus, and although it's potentially a compulsory part of the course, and the university changed it so that if we didn't get a placement, we could go on to our final year. It's still, for me, it was something I wanted to do. So I was concerned that being a mature student, and being a very mature student, and also having periods of ill health in the past, that I would struggle to find companies that were willing to progress me to interviews or to assessment centres. However, that's not the case. I'm lucky enough to have been offered a placement with Unilever in their supply chain. So I'm really looking forward to starting that in a couple of months. So again, I would suggest to people, just go for it. You might think, oh, I'm not the right person for that role, or I don't have the right experiences. I've had these issues in the past. Don't let them get you down. Just do it. Don't be dejected by it. Just do it. Just keep trying. There's no, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. There's no, it's not the end of the world if you don't get a placement, or you don't get the mark you want in a piece of coursework. Things can always improve. So yeah, I think I'll just say that. Don't forget to like, subscribe. I'm plugged in.
Amazing. Thank you.